check. There are 22 states where Peter Obi will defeat Tinubu and Atiku in 2027 presidential election. 22 states. And he doesn't need to win all the 6 geopolitical zones to become the next president of Nigeria. He doesn't. Many people make the mistake of thinking that he does, but he doesn't. And for those thinking that, oh, the only person that can defeat Tinubu in the 2027 presidential election is Atiku, they need to understand something. That Atiku will lose 4 geopolitical zones in the 2027 presidential election. He will lose. So, if the G100 are serious about producing a consensus opposition candidate to tackle Tinubu, the smart place to look is Peter Obi. And not for anything. It's not for Peter Obi to win all the 6 geopolitical zones. Not for that. Does he need to win all the 6 geopolitical zones? The answer is no. What is the minimum that he needs? He only needs 4. We'll look at what those 4 are and the 22 states where he will win, so that it will be clear to everybody that truly, the only person that can defeat Tinubu in 2027 is not Atiku. It is Peter Obi in combination with Rabiu Kwankwaso. Where are the states that Peter Obi will win? And what geopolitical zone? If you look at Nigeria's political history from 1999, where this 4th Republic or the 5th Republic started, you discover that from Obasanjo to Yaradua to Goodluck Jonathan to Buhari to Tinubu, all a candidate needs to win and to become president of Nigeria is how many geopolitical zones? 4 geopolitical zones. 4. And if you put that in perspective and you consider that Atiku will lose 4 geopolitical zones, then of course you will come to the conclusion, and smartly so too, that Atiku should not be a contender in the 2027 presidential election. It should not be. But of course, if what Obasanjo said or wrote in his book, My Watch, is anything to go by, or is it as no, My Watch, something that Kenneth Okonkwo echoed very loudly in 2023, if that is anything to go by, then we can say that Atiku has poor judgment. Very, very poor judgment. So to stand to reason why the G100 will find it near impossible to convince Atiku to step down from the 2027 presidential race. Near impossible. Because the G100 can only succeed if they go by the normal popular convention, which is that power should remain in the South till 2031. If the G100 does not go with that convention, it may be the constitutional right of an Atiku to contest, but the G100 will fail to convince him to step aside and support Peter Obi. 22 states. What are those states? You see the whole of the Southeast. Those 5 states, they are going for Peter Obi. Yes, you can say, oh, the governors are doing so much, or the governors are endorsing Peter Obi. You can say that. And you will be correct. But let me say this. Do you know that even the governors know in their heart of hearts that the people are not with Tinubu or the APC? They know. So the governors are saying what they are saying so that they can be in the good books of Tinubu and the APC. They are just political sycophants. They know the truth. Is there going to be a challenge in Southeast? Sure. The challenge is the usual challenge. Turnout of voters. So that Peter Obi will win the 5 states in the Southeast geopolitical zone. Is that a call for us to now sit and be lazy? No. It is a call for us to now make sure that that perennial challenge that Peter Obi has always had in the Southeast, which is voter turnout, that massively the Southeasterners turn out to make up for the numbers of the KKK states of the Northwest. We'll come to that in a short while. So 5 states will go for Peter Obi, at least 90%. In fact, somebody like Atiku and Tinubu will not even get to, they will struggle to get 25% in those 5 southeastern states. They will struggle. Will the story be different in the South-South? All the 6 states of the South-South, will it be different? It will not be. Forget again what the governors are doing. It's the same thing as the southeastern governors. In fact, it is the same thing for all the governors in Nigeria. Then just the talk to please Tinubu, to be in the good books of Tinubu. In fact, if the rumors that we hear is anything to go by, they're just saying what they are saying so that they will get that defection money. I think they say it's 200 billion or is it 500 billion. So they will say anything for that. But even those governors, they know that they are just one vote, each of them. And at the end of the day, that the people will do what they will do. So the 5 southeastern states will go for Peter Obi. In fact, the struggle again for Atiku and Tinubu will be to get 25%. In a state like Bayelsa, they will struggle to get 25%. We all know that minus the magic that Nyesom Wike did in Rivers, Tinubu would not even score 25% in Rivers. Will that change in 2027? All the gragra, all the muscling that both Tinubu and Nyesom Wike has muscled Fubara, will it lead to a different outcome? Will it make it easier for them to repeat the rigging of 2023? I don't think so. It doesn't mean that we, as the supporters of a new Nigeria, will sit down and rest and say, yes, rest assured, they can't do it. We will work, and we are working. But you see, what happened in Rivers in 2023 will not happen in 2027. So Tinubu will struggle to get 25% in the South states. Forget Okpebolo. Number one, he will be the most shocked of all the governors in the South states. He knows it. And I think because he's a D7 governor, because it's not so intellectually sound, the only thing he can rely on is protection from Asu Rock. That's all. Protection from the likes of the Moshomole. And that would explain why he's saying all the things he's saying, trying to leak Tinubu's boot, leak Tinubu's nyash, leak everything, so that Tinubu will continue to provide cover. But you see, all that will it matter in 2027 election. All the states in the South will go to Peter Obi. Again, we need to work on the numbers so that we'll make up for what happens in the KKK states in a short while. So that's 11 states. Let's go to the Southwest. Many Nigerians believe, and it's a mistake to believe so, that because Tinubu is a Yoruba man, that all the Southwestern states will vote for him. That is a mistake. In fact, it will be a big mistake. Osun, that was just recently held, proved that APC can be defeated. Now, even though analysts like Segun Showumi, an intelligent guy, but touched by Tinubu's corruptive abilities, comments that they make that, oh, yes, APC lost, but Tinubu won, because both the Governor Adeleke and Davido are coming out openly to do what looks like adoption of Tinubu. So they are saying all the votes that Adeleke got, Adeleke will give it to Tinubu, then APC's vote will be for Tinubu. So that is a win for APC in Osun. Is that so? You see, Osun is a state that has always voted against a bad party at the center. Any political party that seems to be oppressive, that seem not to care about the welfare of the people, every such party, Osun has always been resilient and consistent in dealing with such political parties. In 2015, Osun voted against Jonathan, PDP at the center. In 2019, it was APC at the center, Buhari as president. Osun voted against Buhari. The same Buhari that he voted for in 2015, they voted against APC at the center in 2019. Again, they voted against APC at the center in 2023. They voted for PDP. Guess what? In 2026, they voted against APC at the center again. That is a pattern that you just cannot throw away. This is the reason why some analysts now come out to say, look, Adeleke, don't get it twisted. Don't think that the victory you got is actually your victory. It is the victory of the people. So therefore, it is not a victory that you can promise to Tinubu. That's why many people are saying it. Do you get it now? Because Osun people are known for that. And there is no doubt in my mind they will repeat it again in 2027, because the conditions are just clear. Insecurity here and there, poor economy, hardship, poverty, unemployment, darkness, all of those things exist. So it will be repeated. Osun will be the first state in the Southwest to vote Peter Obi in 2027. Next will be Oyo, and next will be Lagos. In fact, the margin in Lagos now will be larger than the margin in 2023. And the reason is simple. Sanwo-Olu and Tinubu have found more ways to anger even the APC supporters in Lagos. There are demolitions of places in Mile 12, demolitions of places in Makoko and other places. Those demolition, careless demolition, demolition without compensation, All of those demolitions have angered a very sizable chunk of APC supporters in Lagos. So those ones.
Yes, we not all listening to Refresh Nigeria. I explain the 22 states where Tinubu will defeat where Peter Obi will defeat Tinubu and Atiku come 27 election in your stand. So where for me not be to analyze in your stand not to show working, not be to analyze, not to show working in your stand. So not to do more research, you understand? That is the most important thing. So thank God say campaign does start. So they need to work. You are seeing they need to work as in all those areas where they all those areas where they leak. So you understand? They need to work. Very important because APC they see the deal. You understand? They see the deal. They know the way they do. They know their work. So that is it.